The last time we talked about Chris Chan on this channel, it was about his body cam footage that had released years after his initial arrest, but we actually haven't looked into what Chris has been up to lately. Some of the things going on are to be expected, like Chris being spotted around town or bitching and moaning on Twitter. Other things came out of left field, like Chris being sent a play button from YouTube, which is something we'll get to a little bit later on in the video. But we're going to find out a lot today. We're going to see some new pictures of Chris and Flutter. We're going to find out who Chris wants to win the presidency. I think you already have a good idea on who that is. But then we also find out what Chris's opinions on the Minecraft movie are. And then again, we'll loop all the way back around to the play button situation. And so, I guess the best place for us to start today is talking about all the pictures that someone took of Chris and Flutter when they were out at the mall a few weeks ago. Obviously, there's a lot of cryptid, candid photos of Chris out there. People love spotting him in public, taking pictures, and then posting them online. But as more and more of these Chris and Flutter pictures come out, people are starting to wonder, like, are these being taken by somebody in Chris's inner circle and then being put online? This is a theory that I've thrown around a lot because a lot of people have alleged it as of late. And some of these pictures, you know, it really seems like the person is so close to Chris that there would be no way he doesn't see him. Like right there in that last one we looked at, like the dude is right behind him. But I don't know, again, those are all allegations. However, with the wacky world Chris is usually surrounded in, it wouldn't be too shocking if this is what's going on. If somebody's trying to drum up controversy or interest with Chris, taking pictures of him, posting it everywhere to get people talking about him. I mean, it works when I make videos like this and other people talk about it, but still, it's most likely just a case of somebody spotting Chris out in public and taking some pictures, but you can never not ask the question because there are some question marks there. But ever since this point a few weeks ago, Chris has not been spotted with Flutter. He's been spotted at other locations and at other points, but not with Flutter. A lot of people, including myself, think that Flutter actually lives like out of town and she only comes to town every now and again to hang out with Chris. That's why we don't see them together like 24/7. But yeah, other than that, there wasn't any more sightings of Chris out in public, at least to my knowledge. So now we go over to Chris's Twitter, where Chris sends out a post like every few days or so, and it's always, like, without fail, it's always just a bunch of nonsense, and that's basically what it's going to be here today. So I just picked the ones I thought were the best, and we're going to read them here. Starting with this one here, where Chris says, he had a conscious realization about autism, as mentioned in the basics on transmutate. Lack of ability to easily recognize emotions, feelings, and social cues are parts of autism. But being a rarity among them myself, we can still feel and can recognize. But it is within this limitation we on the spectrum are not as prone to surface-level stipulations that neurotypicals and others are prone to. So innately we are able to see the bigger metaphysical picture, and be sensitive to the various energies and auras. I don't even know what Chris is like I rarely ever know what he's talking about here, but this time especially, like, no idea. He starts it off by saying that he himself is like a particular autistic person, but like everyone else can understand it too and work on deeper levels than most anyone. I think he's going for a good message here, but of course it all has to wrap back around to him being like the one above all. It is from this that regardless of functionality levels, we are capable to understand and work on deeper levels than most anyone, and among us are those in the 0.1% with the mind and energy that is overpowered, and having recognized myself as the one avatar of all existence, the number on the spectrum are able to recognize themselves as similar and do good and great things for everyone and themselves. And yeah, as I just said, he has to bring up that he is the one avatar of all existence, and it's because he just wants people to look at him and be like, man, that Chris is doing a real good job, we should walk in his footsteps. He wants to be God, he wants people to look at him as God. We've said this so many times, it's like beating a dead horse at this point. He does call himself overpowered at one point, which is, I think, him like recognizing the fact that people have brought up that Sonichu's and all these like characters, even his old Pokemon cards back in the day, everything he's ever done has been overpowered, and he's just like, yeah, we are overpowered. But really, again, I think the whole premise of this tweet is just for Chris to be like, hey, fellow autistic people, follow me, and I'll be your new god. We on the spectrum are not to be recognized as victims, but as conduits for something truly amazing and should be kindly encouraged and guided. I am guiding myself better now after years of experience, soul-searching, and vast explorations. You can follow the good examples I have made and learn from the mistakes with those online I had made. You don't have to be victims of bullies, and you all are strong in your own respective rights and abilities. My fellow autistic individuals, how will you guide yourselves and do good on light power and what is right with the dimensionally merging universe right here and beyond on this earth? Because I am manifesting for the better. And then it's accompanied by this picture you see on screen right now that is just phenomenal. This is the best picture of all time. It's a picture of a wolf in what looks like an old cup, you know, it's on screen right now, like an old one of these cups, you know what I'm talking about. Well, the wolf is on that, and he looks like he's a pretty badass looking wolf. And over it says, you call it autism, I call it having that dog in me. Like, man, like, holy shit, that's a badass picture right there. Now, the picture, had it just been put up by itself, would have been a pretty impactful tweet. Adding all that gibberish before it, trying to act like it was a call to like get all autistic people to rise up together, when really it's just Chris trying to get people to kiss his ass and worship him again. It's kind of hilarious, but, you know, it's just you can't ask for everything with Chris. But you know what you can ask for? His political opinions, because of course Chris had to put his opinion out there. People were just dying to know. Chris says, my apologies for not putting up a tweet for a few days, but I wanted to offer a bit of support to Kamala Harris. I've read the Wikipedia article on her political platform, and I agree with a lot of the stuff she stands for. Moving on. Just needed to put that out there, that Chris felt that his opinion on the current presidential race was important enough to tweet about and be like, hey guys, if I'm doing it, maybe you should too. You're not an influencer, Chris. However, what YouTube sent him in the mail is just going to inflate that opinion in his head so much more. But on to more important topics, like what Chris thinks about the Minecraft movie trailer. Because Chris says that he just watched the trailer, and he feels like some content so far has merit, but Jack Black is Steve? What? They couldn't get Chris Pratt? And realistic teeth on the animals, I concur, is a bit much. But AI-generated art comparisons for background aside, at least the integration into the blocky universe is decent. And what about Alex? Why is she not in the movie? It would be better with Alex and Steve together in this movie. I feel they should postpone the movie launch by a year and give it further considerations, edits, and a bit of terraforming. Now, of course, Chris thinks he knows exactly what to do, like a Hollywood blockbuster movie. However, I bet you a lot of people feel that way about this new Minecraft movie, because I've seen a lot of shit about it online. I watched the trailer myself. Yeah, it doesn't look like my thing, I gotta be honest, but I know it's going to affect people like Chris, and knowing the type of history he has, we're going to be lucky if we don't see a blue arm situation here. I don't think he cares about Minecraft as much as he cares about Sonic, but if he did, holy shit, would he be up in arms about this one. So as I mentioned, people spotted Chris at Target, people spotted Chris at Walmart, and it was just more of these, again, these cryptid Chris sightings. There was no Flutter around, so he's back on his own. And I mean, this is just something we see every other week now. People run into Chris in some store, they take a picture of him, and it gets brought up in a video like this. It's just the way things work nowadays. But then, just a few days ago, Chris put up a video on his YouTube channel, and he hasn't uploaded in quite a long time. And what he was announcing is that now he has hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube. And when that happens, you usually get sent a silver play button to like kind of say, hey, congrats for your accomplishment. I say most of the time that happens, but we'll get to that later. We're not going to dwell on dumb shit. But the video you see right here is Chris Chan opening up his 100,000 subscriber play button. And honestly, based on what I've seen people online say, a lot of people aren't too happy about this. You know, Chris being the person he is, accused of what he was, like, you know, doing with his mom, the fact that he went to jail for it. A lot of people think YouTube shouldn't be rewarding a person like this. But then again, I'm not the person to say that, and I don't think really anyone else is, too. It's YouTube's platform. They decide what they want to do. And is it kind of strange? Yeah, yeah, it's kind of strange.
Hey everybody, this is Jesus Christ, the Western Channel Sonic Prime, coming in once again And today, something very, very special that all of you are aware of. We have reached over 100,000 subscribers! 100,000 subscribers! Yeah! And so, checked my email and we got a code, which I redeemed, and in this box, which we have covered the receiving address because we want no doxing, is a lovely little button. So the box is like big old YouTube button. There's black, there's the top, there's the bottom, there's one side, there's the other side. No obligatory bra shots in the back. It's an unboxing video, so we're gonna unbox this video.
So once Chris finally gets the box open, he starts to read this little letter that's in there, and I assume it's the default letter that they write for everybody in these things. But if they knew they were giving this thing to Chris Chan, which I'm just going to assume YouTube didn't, but this letter makes it sound like Chris has like an incredibly adoring community, and again, it's so clear they don't know who they're sending this to, because if they did, they would know nothing they're saying in this thing is anything close to the truth.
Congratulations on your subscriber milestone. We are honored to take part in recognizing your achievement and want your experience to be exceptional. This award was inspected and packaged with care by... Name on the card, but should not be disclosed because I do not like doxing anybody. But it was made by Society Awards. And their letter is included. Just, do you remember your first subscriber? Your 100th or your 1000th? Chances are you do. And you know that you'll definitely remember your 100,000 subscriber. Your fans may have found you while searching YouTube, learned about you through a friend, or maybe you showed up as a recommended video. No matter how they came to your channel, your audience stayed and their numbers increased because of you and the community you've built. We're proud to honor your impressive milestone of reaching 100,000 subscribers with the Silver Creator Award. Congratulations! We know you have many more stories to share with your community, and we know that your fans can't wait for you to amaze them even more with your commitment and creativity. So keep creating, keep building. We can't wait to see what you'll do next, and we're here to support you along the way. And who knows, when you reach your 1,000,000th subscriber, we just may write to you next. Do you remember your 100,000th? Yours sincerely, the YouTube CEO.
Can't wait to see what you're gonna do next, Chris Chan. To send that to Chris of all people, again, just is going to inflate his ego by telling him that, you know, the fan base you've built is awesome when, let's be real here, this fan base is there to just fuck with Chris or watch his fuck-ups. But what a turnaround, might I add. Like, this guy was in jail just a few years ago for boinking his mom, and now here he is. And now here he is, back on the internet of all places where he feels the most comfortable, being given an award of all things. Just got to admit it, Chris came out of that whole situation victorious. There's no doubt about that one. And that's the truth right there. Chris Chan won, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, he spent 2 years in jail for doing what he did to his mom, but he's out now, he's making a steady living just selling his little, like, trinkets online, and when he's not doing that, he's probably just getting paid money by these prater people whenever they have a little left over. And as far as we know, he's probably allowed to just waltz back up into the house at any time. He doesn't live at home with his mom anymore, but if he wanted to go back there, he probably can. So yeah, Chris won.
Out of the plastic sleeve. It's a button. No two buttons about it. So yes, I'd like to dedicate this award by thanking all the number of the little people, from the genuine and authentic to just essentially all the good, the neutrals, as well as the neutral good, neutral bad, and dishonorable mention to the toxic ones.
If we're being honest, you should be dedicating that entire award to the toxic ones. The trolls make up, I would say, about 99.5% of your subscriber base. The other 0.1% are genuine fans and people who want to see Chris do good, and the other 0.4% are people who stumbled onto Chris and still currently don't know what to make of him.
I'd like to offer a little bit of a reminiscent tour, if you will, a little bit of nostalgia since we've reached such a milestone. The things are all this started, obviously for the day I was born and everything, but obviously I came to learn myself as I am, being the one avatar of all existence and everything. a lot of soul searching and digging deep within and connecting with everything to realize this. And of course, you remember classic Book Zero. And of course, you're going to thank the green screen for doing that detail to the grass in the bottom. Or this is being upgraded and still in progress to Book Zero HD. The big binders right next to me. But of course, you know, this is what I'm supposed to be known for. Small interruption there. This is what I'm more for. And part of what I am. Not just to be a YouTube creator or content, but because of the Sonic juice and Rose juice and the Sea of Quickville and all of that. And the progression we're making so far and my inspiration to everyone. And just counting the old classic Book Zero. And I'm making an honorable mention once again to the two fan fictions, one of which is canon, and this one in an alternate timeline. But yeah, just look at this stack of the books. We got your Book Zero, we got your 1, 2, 3, 4.
Chris goes on about how he should be known for Sonichu as well, and mostly for Sonichu, not just for being a YouTuber. Oh, and also he should be known for all the good deeds and all the help he does for everybody. Again, going back to the godly stuff, because he can never quite just fully get that out of here. I don't know what's more important to him, being God or the Sonichu shit. He's showing off all these comic books, you know, the comic books he drew years ago and has now printed, and he's supposed to be drawing new comics. That's what a lot of people have wanted Chris to do throughout the years, because despite what I do say about Chris not having many fans, there are some people out there who want to see a new Sonichu comic, and Chris just refuses to give it to them.
And of course, we can't forget the Secret Shipfic folder cards, obviously inspired by the MLP game, but who said it had to just be limited to the ponies. But we are looking at a way to get these mass printed inexpensively, so we can add these, all the individual cards, and we'll do bonus promo cards at one point or another, and whatnot. But that's still to be confirmed in the future later on. And of course, the toys, the Amiibo figures.
Alright, so this is just a fucking ad for his Etsy page. It seems like it's like, hey guys, I did it. I hit 100K. Now let me show you all the things we have for sale over on my Etsy store. He shows the comic books. He then shows, now I love this, he shows his card game. Twilight Sparkle's Secret Shipfic folder. That name is a mouthful, but I think the point of the game is to get your ponies to be in relationships with each other, hence the word ship in the name of the card game. And of course, because he has to do it in every single thing he creates, he put himself and Sonichu in the game. Now, I don't know the stats and how those cards work, but based off of what Chris said earlier and what we know from his past, I'd imagine that card is pretty overpowered, because anytime Chris plays the game, he's going to be chomping at the bit to get that one in his deck.
With the things that are in process and that we are planning. But anyway, so, on that, so, Sonichu discovered. Sonichu Prime discovered within my premonitionary mind on March 17th, 2000. Though literally, as I have written and made obvious and canon, Sonichu Prime as a Pichu was born on April 20th, 1992. And Rosie Roshu Prime born as a Pichu on January 8th, 1992. So, age difference aside, yada yada yada. She's a little bit older than him. But anyway, so April 20th. And not to be confused with that joke of 420 or whatever. So just no. April 20th, that's when Sonichu Prime was born.
Chris says no to 420. That is Sonichu's birthday, and we will look at it as only that. It is only his birthday. It's nobody else's birthday. Nobody else historically significant. By the way, maybe that's always been Sonichu's birthday, but I just vaguely, I recall that may have been something that came up in the Idea Guys saga. If you're not sure whose birthday that is, go look it up and see why people made sure that was Sonichu's birthday as well. Again, though, I'm not sure if this is something Chris came up with on his own, but yeah, I mean, I made videos on this guy for years now. I should know this, but in the moment, I really don't.
Anyway, so aside from that, all the progressions on the way, because I did want to focus a lot on Sonichu and Roshi and all the special Sonichus and Roshis, and I was so focused on the, the sweetheart search of mine once upon a time, no longer a thing. I'm doing much better now. But yeah, just then the progressions on the way with the sweetheart search, and yeah, I did a bunch of videos on YouTube, and some of which were obviously influenced by a certain few, but they will not be named. But their judgment is set, and so on and so forth. But anyway, so aside from that, I've grown and developed along the way and definitely learned. And here's the thing, internet security, and make sure you do not dox yourself and don't dox anybody else. But honesty and authenticity between individuals still does remain good and just. So, if you're looking to actually become friends with somebody on the internet, seriously, don't fake, don't hate, just keep it all authentic and good. And as long as you can do that, and especially in loving yourself authentically and deeply and everything, and appreciating yourself and everything that has led you to get to this point, that shall be good for you as well. Even if you are among the lowest ranks or dredges, or even if you're a billionaire, but still not very happy because you're not feeling like your soul fully being fulfilled and all that. So you think about that. Middle of the road is technically good, because it's like you take the good with the bad and find your own way for the better. But of course, you gotta remember your roots, where you came from, as you were in past lives, and so on and so forth.
I mean, he always does this, but really this is a clear example of Chris just saying whatever comes out of his mouth first without really thinking about it. He's trying to get around to some conclusive thought, but he can't really do it. He does bring up there that you gotta recognize your roots, you know, and I thought that was the moment that he would really go. So shout out to everyone who's helped me along my way. Shout out to my mom, rest in peace, dad, stuff like that. But no, he immediately turns it into, yeah, you know, in your past lives, and then goes on with more and more Jesus shit. His thank you video, which is what this was supposed to be, by the way, I think it was like his shout outs to everyone who helped him along the way, was really just him trying to get people to remember that he is God and you need to follow him. And that's really all you get from Chris anymore. He's just so entrenched in this God shit that it's all he talks about. Sonichu stuff is there as well, so, I mean, if you can wash your mouth out with a little bit of Sonichu stuff. That sounded terrible, but it's the truth. It's the truth.
So I'm reading this. So I did see the super chat. Haitians in Ohio. Yeah. I mean, that's their choice, and I'm not gonna say one way or the other. Though personally, I'm against it. I would not necessarily eat dog meat, alright?
So, just when you think everything's said and done, Chris is gonna retreat back into his hole and not show his face for a few months, he's decided it's election season. People need to know Chris Chan's opinion, as you saw with that tweet earlier, and we now know his opinion is he wants Kamala Harris to be president. So he did this stream the other night where he reacted to the entire debate between Kamala and Trump. And let me tell you, the word react does not fit here, because for the most part, this is just a good way to go back and watch the debate if you want to. Because really, there's like no interruptions other than maybe a super chat sound here and there. Like there's a good while where Chris doesn't say a word and then Springfield, Illinois is brought up. And of course, Chris being Chris is immediately like, oh, that's where the Simpsons live. Like, and then he's quiet again while they actually talk about serious stuff going on in the world. I don't know what his whole idea was about him, like, reacting to this. I think he just thought this would be a very good way to get views. People would love to see my opinions on this because it's a serious event, and I'm a really serious entity, you know? Eventually, Chris does become a little more talkative, saying that everything Kamala says he agrees with, everything Trump says is a lie. I don't think he understands anything about either of them. He just knows that one's a man, one's a woman, and that's good enough for him. We saw how he reacted back in 2016. And if you need any more proof that he is a solid, firm Kamala Harris supporter, well, then let me lead you back over to his Twitter real quick, and let me show you a picture that Chris put up, because of course it is election season. A lot of people have signs on their front lawn to show you who they're supporting, and Chris is no different. Now, he doesn't live back at Branchland anymore, but I guess he's not allowed to put any signs out front of his new residence, so he went back to Branchland and he put up this sign you see right here. I guess he didn't want to go buy a Kamala Harris sign. It's probably a mix of Chris's cheapness and also him wanting to, like, show his support in his own original way. I really think the only thing this is doing is getting all of the people who live in Branchland Court to be like, fuck, Chris is back, because you know they've dealt with his shit for years. And if you're seeing signs like this, very Sonichu-esque drawings just popping up back on his front lawn, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a pretty bad time for anyone living in that community now that you know Chris is back there, especially considering what happened in the past with him and his mom. But we will get to that very shortly, because his mom, old Barb, becomes a very important character in this whole situation. But yeah, here's his crudely drawn Kamala Harris sign, and Chris is really proud of this. Again, he's not proud enough of it to put it in front of his own house, but he'll go all the way back to Branchland and put it there. But this picture was accompanied by another picture, which is again just the house and the picture out front of it, and you'd really think that's it. What's funny is that he didn't even need to do this. He could have just posted the sign and people would have been none the wiser to the fact that he's actually back home with his mom now. But I really think this is just giving people even more incentive to now go take that sign, because he's showing the exact location it's at. And knowing Chris Chan's history, Weens will come a-running if Chris lets them know that he left something somewhere, even if it's on his own front lawn. But this picture has a lot more significance than you may think, because right now you may think it's just a picture of Chris's house, maybe a more recent one. We haven't seen it in a while. That's pretty interesting, right? Well, the grass is cut. Is someone there doing some yard work? I mean, it's kind of cut still. It's getting a little bit overgrown now, but like, what's so important about this picture? Well, you probably can't see it from right here, but if you zoom in a little bit, just like this, and you look above the trash can you see anything there? Maybe you can't see anything yet. So I'm going to zoom it in one final time. And when I do, you will see that Barb Chandler, a ghostly, cryptid-looking Barb Chandler, straight out of a video on like a paranormal investigations channel, is looking out the window just hauntingly staring at Chris taking these pictures. I'm sorry, man, this is some scary shit to see if you weren't expecting it, because Barb just, when you zoom in, she comes out of nowhere, and it's, yeah, she looks a lot like Chris in this picture. Like this one I'm showing on screen right now, I personally think Barb looks like a spitting image of Chris just like 20 to 30 years in the future in that one, but you guys let me know in the comments below. I mean, yeah, what an odd, like, I don't know if Chris even noticed that when he posted the picture online, but really, Barb is just lurking in that picture, and you gotta wonder what the hell she's thinking, because Chris being back home is something nobody wanted to see, and we had known that he was going back there, back when he posted that video months ago of him, like, picking up rocks in the driveway that he had planned to sell, but I had assumed after that he went back home, and that was kind of it, but no, he's been back there, and if this picture is to be believed, and he's doing all that stuff with the rocks, he's probably up there a lot more than we're really aware of. So who knows, maybe he's taking Flutter up there, showing her the area, but he lives a few hours away now. That's where he streams from, that's his new domain. He lives with the Praetor and they wrangle him, but he's back up there with Barb sometimes, and who knows what's going on, but let's just all pray it's not no weird shit like the last time. And that's what's really been going on with Chris. He rarely does videos, he puts up tweets, and they're always some nonsense. Now, because election season is in full swing, he thinks he can capitalize on that. get some viewership by himself reacting to the debate, and even though he doesn't know anything about it, that just seems like a game strategy to him, and he's going to keep on doing it up until that election day comes. And no matter what happens that day, I bet you we're going to get a Chris video that night, and it's going to be really fucking ridiculous. Like, it all depends. If one side wins, he's going to be really angry. If another side wins, he's going to be doing backflips, but nonetheless, it's going to be a ridiculous watch. But until next time, I'm gonna get out of here. It was a wild week for Chris, and I'll be sure to continue covering his antics because we've been doing it since the beginning, and there's no stopping now. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna get out of here, but again, I want to mention that my Twitter is SmokeyMcC. Go follow me over there if you wanna keep up to tabs on all the stuff these guys are doing. Really, like, as it happens. I tweet pretty often, more often than I post videos here on YouTube. And if you want to just ever shoot the shit, I'm over there. Also, myself and Kiwi Tapes do a show every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time over on his channel called Too High for Stupid, and it is a good time. If you like this video, you'll probably like what you see over there. So again, I'm out of here, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care, everybody.